You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking, because you're always looking for and finding the good. We have good in abundance. Actually, you get an exponential dose of good today. Yeah, you get good squared. Two of the most remarkable people that I've ever known in my life are going to be joining us, and they're going to be talking about you. That's right, you, your health. Because you know, in this show, The Joy of Living, you tune in consciously and conscientiously because you know that everything we do here is we're actually about you, Y-O-U. Because when you become the best you make the world a better place. You bring more harmony to the world. You bring more joy, more happiness, more peace, and more love. And that's really why you're here. And you know that on this show, we talk about the three fundamentals of life. The three fundamentals are, number one, life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, number two happens. Now, in this case, a good number two, because number two means you go mad. You lead a purpose-driven life, you go mad. MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. And number three fundamental of life is to uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Everyday words and terms. Simple example. Right now, you're either watching or listening to this as carried over the internet worldwide. Now, if you ask anybody, what is the internet, what does www stand for? They'll have to invariably tell you it has to do with the internet. And factually speaking, they're correct. But in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, www stands for what a wonderful world. And what is a word, right? W-H-A-T-A. What a wonderful world. So if you see www from now on, you think, what a wonderful world. You hear Barry Shore singing to you. So you remember the three fundamentals enable you to be happier, healthier, and wealthier. And we're going to discuss today healthier, because healthier actually, without health, you have no wealth. Without good health, you have no happiness. So health is that unique part of the human condition where everything else stems from, being happier and being wealthier. I just want to let you know also, thank you so much. You are joined today by 348,613 people around the world at this very moment. And by the time we bring on our two amazing guests, Dr. Michael Richman and wonderful Jennifer Martucci, we'll have over 355,000 people. Usually have 330, 340,000 people every week. And you're always telling your friends about it. And we got 15, 20, 30,000 people more every single week. So thank you very much. It's a tribute to what the show is all about. Remember, the show is about you. You tuned in because you want to be the best you possible. So talked about www. And whenever I do a presentation to audiences, and thank God we're doing live presentations again, just did one recently, 1,134 people were in attendance. And I'm talking about the story of Barry Shore and www, what a wonderful world, and about this amazing word called SMILE. Now, SMILE is one of the greatest acronyms you can ever internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life, because SMILE stands for seeing miracles in life every day. Seeing miracles in life every day. Now, invariably in the audience, people raise their hands and say, hey, Barry Shore, I've been out for hours. I haven't seen any miracles. And I ask them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Do you have water to drink? Can you walk? Can you be able to do that? Do you have food to eat? A place to sleep? Family, friends? Every single one of those is a miracle. And what's the proof? Simplest proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching or listening, you didn't. You have an obligation to live life to the full. Imagine the following. Standing up in the morning, hale and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, and that evening be in the hospital totally, completely paralyzed. That's me. A rare disease took over my body I never heard of the day before. Not an automobile accident, not a spinal injury, rare disease. I was totally, completely paralyzed. 144 days in the hospital. I was in a hospital bed in my own home for 2 years. I couldn't turn over by myself. I was in a wheelchair for 4 years. I had braces on both my legs, my hips to my ankles. That was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand. I still can't walk up a stair by myself. I can't walk up a curb by myself. I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you hear my voice, positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. It's all because of that one word. Smile, seeing miracles in life every day. Like I tell you a quick story. My 8-year-old niece comes over to me a few weeks ago and she says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile S-M-I-E-L? And I thought about it. I said, smile, sounds the same. Why not? I asked her how come. She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. Out of the mouth of babes. What was she doing? She was creating the kind of world she wants to live in. CREATE is a great acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. Thought is the key to living successfully. Neuro-linguistic program, we call it. Now, I'm going to share with you the 6 most important words you could ever internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life. You remember these 6 words, and it will make everything better for you. These 6 words are: choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation will determine who you are going to be, what your vision is of yourself. Now, before we bring on amazing Jennifer and Michael, I do want to make mention, and I have to warn people in advance, that your humble host does use a lot of 4-letter words. I even use the 4-letter FU word, and I do it because of the shock value, and it's fun. Now, of course, the 4-letter words that we use, because we live in the world of positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, 4-letter words that we use are love, life, grow, hope, free, gift, pray, play, swim. They're all 4-letter words, right? And the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun, that's right. F-U, capital N, capital N. Now, right away, people are raising their hands and say, hey, Barry Shore, Barry Shore. Fun is only spelled with 3 letters. Not in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. Fun is spelled F-U, capital N, capital N. So after the show, when you see your family and your friends, you have a twinkle in your eye and a smile on your face. Remember the stands for point your finger and say, F-U, everybody. They'll say, what are you talking about? I said, where'd you get that? I said, hey, I was listening to Barry Shore on the joy of living, and he wants to teach the world to F-U. Capital N, capital N. So right before we introduce Jennifer and Michael, I'm going to urge everybody to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life. It will help you, your family, your friends, and the entire world. And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks stands for to harmonize and network kindness. To harmonize and network kindness. Dalai Lama has been quoted saying, read in his writings, be kind whenever possible. And he said, it's always possible. Imagine you go to the coffee shop, you order a fancy latte, you sit down, somebody brings it to you, say, thank you. You walk in the coffee shop, you order a fancy latte, you sit down, you wait a couple minutes, nobody brings you, go to the counter, say, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. We'll bring it, you sit down, a couple more minutes, still you say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop, it's raining out. Somebody holds the door open for you. You say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop and it's raining out. Somebody slams the door on you. You say, thank you. You're in traffic, you're late for an appointment. Somebody cuts you off. You say, thank you. You get up in the middle of the night and you stub your toe and it hurts. You say, thank you. To harmonize and network kindness. KIND is a wonderful acronym that stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. I can't think of any 2 people that I would like to introduce you that inspire noble deeds, inspire me to be noble and act correctly than wonderful Jennifer Martucci and fabulous Dr. Michael Richman. Welcome, beautiful, bountiful, beloved beings. Please, Jennifer and Michael, say, first, Jennifer, hello to 358,000 people around the world.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, and Michael, Dr. Michael Richman, a big hello, people.
Hi, everybody. Good to see
Wow,
you.
they're all, you can tell they're really psyched up for this. Okay. Jennifer, when was the last time somebody said F you to you and you smiled?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about health. Now, I'm going to make a short, important announcement at the moment. If I start telling you about Jennifer Martucci's CV, her curriculum vitae, and all the things she's done, take half of the show. And if I start telling about Michael Richman, all the things he's done, it will take the other half of the show. So suffice it to say, here's what I'm going to do. All you have to do is go to my website, www, which is what a wonderful world, .barryshore.com, and everything you want to know about Jennifer and about Michael will be there. So you don't have to write anything down about his background. He's this famous surgeon and this person here, and she created this program and she made millions of dollars. She helps people and she rescues the animals. Just leave it aside for the moment. Don't write it down. You will go to my website. It all will be, you can link and click and see and say, wow, look at these people. Are they for real? The simple answer is yes, they are for real. And what they've done as a team is to bring something remarkable in the world. Now, I want to make mention to you, Jennifer and Michael, that I love words and acronyms. TEAM stands for Together, Everyone Achieves Miracles. And what you have done by building and creating Paladin MDs is to create a miracle. Now, instead of me talking about it, I'd like both of you to talk about it. We can't have you speaking together at once. So let's start with the prettier one and the smarter one. Jennifer, would you be kind enough to introduce our global audience? This is global and everybody cares about their health. First of all, what is Paladin MDs and why should anybody care? What did you do?
Well, I'm an inventor, and I've always been an inventor, and I've always felt that invention is bred from necessity. And I always felt if I needed something, that somebody else needed it. And I've been pretty on target in my other companies when I've invented things in the past. And what happened in my life is I had a sick aunt, and my father was sick. And it was right at the beginning of COVID, and I happened to meet Michael serendipitously through social media, through you may know this person. And we just actually, our friend in common was a best friend of mine that I had for many, many years. So we struck up a conversation and immediately we hit it off. I found out about Michael's medical background and as we, COVID was hitting, so nobody was going anywhere. We were just talking to each other 24 hours a day, pretty much, because there was nothing else to do. And I was telling him intermittently about my aunt who was very sick with renal failure. And I had her move in with me to take care of her because she had no one else. And I have a very small family. And Michael was so invaluable to me to give me advice and calm me down and help me through. I can invent technology, but I can write software, I can do a lot of things. But when it comes to medicine and it's a family member, the peace of mind that you have by essentially having like a world famous cardiothoracic surgeon on speed dial to answer any question, whether it's a dumb question, you think it's dumb, or you just don't know, it was something that I found to be so comforting. And I thought everyone needs this, because on the flip side, trying to get in touch with my aunt's physicians, or you get their service and somebody's going to call you back and then they don't call you back, or it's the wrong time of the night and the wrong person calls you back and they have no idea who your family member is and what their condition is. And it was, I got spoiled because and what I learned is it's not spoiled. It's the way medicine and these incredible physicians who dedicate their lives to helping people were essentially meant to function. And what's happened in society, whether it's whoever's fault it is, nobody's pointing fingers, but you've got big pharma, you've got insurance companies, bureaucracy, whatever's happened, the care and the concern that these physicians wanted to bring to the world, it got stifled, and they've got caught up in paperwork, and they only can stay 10 minutes because you have to pay for the insurance and the copay, and you lost that human touch. And so I thought this was something that everybody wants. I know that everybody wants it because everybody that we speak to has frustration with their physician. And then as it continued, Michael's value became exponential because, when you learn about how things work on the backside a little more, you see how many, because of the way medicine has migrated today, how many mistakes are made because you don't have that personal relationship with your physician anymore. I said to you briefly when we first spoke, Mary, that, I wanted to kind of invoke the old days of a doctor making house calls. Because that's, okay, you've got telemedicine, but you don't know who you're going to get. It's just some impersonal. I mean, I literally call Michael 5 times a day, even just for my friends or for a stupid question. I ask him stuff about my horses. I mean, it's such an incredible service. I mean, I'll let him go into all the medical stuff about it, but I really felt that the ability to take someone like this who dedicated so much of their life and has so much experience and so much to give, and essentially give him and all of our network of specialists who care, who genuinely care and want to do what doctors were meant to do, give them access to people who need them in a way that's not rushed and not managed by any bureaucratic oversight or any agenda other than the care and concern for you.
Other than health, good health.
Right.
So I want to unpack a few things here before we ask Michael to speak. I am deeply touched and moved by what you said because it is human. It's real. You are an inventor, as you said.
Right.
And what do we say? That necessity is the mother of invention. And unbeknownst to you, you were going into a next phase of something that needed to be invented.
Yes.
And you use these great words, comfort and care, because really that is what medicine is about. Obviously, there needs to be interventions at certain points. It's only things that surgeons can do and such. But the ability to care on a human level and comfort brings a lot to bear on the psyche and therefore healing in the real world. I do want to talk a lot about, we're going to discuss this, about mistakes that are made, and Michael's going to wax eloquent on that because that's really where he goes off the handle. I'll have to keep him on the rails, otherwise he'll go off. But I want to make mention that the name of the company that you two created and what it's going to do is called Paladin MDs or MDS. And again, it's all going to be, just go to the website. The reason I mentioned Paladin is because of 2 things. Number one, because I can't get the song out of my head. So I'm older than both of you, and I grew up with a television show called Paladin. And I know the song. And if you don't know the song, if you don't know the show, there are hundreds of thousands of people watching around the world. They have no idea what Barry Shaw is talking about. They love me and they trust me, but just go and YouTube Paladin.
I had no idea. Did you know that, Michael?
Wait a minute. Oh, wait, this is too much fun then. Wait a minute. Jennifer, you're going to love this. Paladin, Paladin, where do you roam? Have gun will travel. But in your case, it's have physician will heal. I just made that up. Okay. But you look it up. It's such a great idea because the reason the television show existed was exactly that this person was hired to solve problems. That's the essence of Paladin. Now, I also looked it up because I love words. Paladin is derived from, there was the Knights of the Round Table, but they weren't in King Arthur's court. They were Charlemagne's court. Charlemagne means Great Charles, by the way. That's what it is. Charlemagne, Great Charles. And it was the knights that were renowned for their heroism and their chivalry, because that's what you're talking about here. Yeah. You're talking about heroes. They're called doctors, male, female. And you're talking about chivalry, the ability to bring comfort to people. So with that as an intro, I would like Mike, I'm going to call you Michael with your permission, Dr. Richman. Is that what I have your permission?
Whatever. Yes.
Okay. And full disclosure, Michael has decided to invest his time on this program, and his time is just not more than valuable, but it's remarkable that he's making the time to do this because he cares about people and he likes me. I was a patient of his. He saved my life. You should know that, Jennifer, because I listened to him on the radio. He was on a radio show one day, and I heard he was talking about to Dennis Prager, and I said, wait a minute, I need this stuff because my panel just said the regular stuff. But no, Richman says, hey, if you're not going deeper into the panel, getting the right, if you don't ask the right questions, by definition, you can't get the right answers. As they say in your world, Jennifer, garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yeah.
So I met Michael, and he took care of me over the course of numbers of months, and we stayed in touch. And he's actually a good guy, world famous, amazing person who has done things in the medical world that people are astounded by, and a lot of people don't like him for it because he ruffles feathers. So, with that as an introduction, wonderful Dr. Michael Richman, feather ruffler, please tell us what Paladin really is designed to do, and why you are so given to making sure that this works, not just for you and Jennifer as a business, but as a new way of bringing health caring solutions to people.
So, wow, what an introduction. It's hard to follow Jennifer. I could just listen. So Paladin MDs, what it means to me is it means to have the ability to have a physician who's well-trained, who cares, and has no hidden agenda. In other words, the agenda to become your doctor or usurp your complete care. So it's basically, I'm not going to say like a second opinion. It's you know what Paladin means: knight in shining armor,
Advocate.
Advocate, champion of a cause. So commensurate with my training, in order to become a cardiothoracic surgeon, you have to become a general surgeon first. And where I trained at LA County for general surgery, USC, and then for heart surgery, University of Miami, you're it. I mean, we spun our own blood after you took it. We spun our own urines. We, since as you have your Yamakon, we did circumcisions as interns, on the urology rotation under local anesthesia. So I learned it. I learned it all. So to be able to have the ability to come into somebody's life when they need you and to help guide them through their journey is an invaluable skill. And, Jennifer constructed this company. She gets all the credit for it. I'm just like the worker bee, and, and she's the boss, but it's so rewarding because every day I really am telling you, I get to save lives, but I don't worry like I used to. Am I going to get sued? Am I going to piss people off? Am I going to ruffle feathers? Am I going to say the wrong thing? The patients appreciate it and everybody appreciates it, but it's the establishment who doesn't appreciate, any deviation from.
Let's take a look. Let's go there for a moment, because there's where the open wound exists. Let's talk about the open wound. Why does an establishment, which is established to be advocates for the establishment, why do they worry about a Michael Richman, a Jennifer Martucci, a Paladin? What is it that's going to upset them at all? Aren't you there to give great care like they are?
If I can start, I mean, I'm certainly, not a physician, as I said, but what motivates and what I've seen as a patient, as an individual, as an observer of life, is that what guides medicine today is money. And it's a gate to caring physicians having the ability to do what they want to do in the way that they want to do it, whether it's you have to use this particular medicine because that's the one the hospital decided they want to use. If you're a doctor at a certain hospital, or when the reps come to your office and you have to, everybody's selling. And it's become a huge game of numbers. And what's happened is that the personal care for the individual, because I've heard Michael a million times, we have so many use case scenarios where, Michael's so grateful that he can actually prescribe the medicine that he knows is the best medicine. And nobody's going to say, oh, you can't use that because that's not what the hospital uses. I mean, that's what goes on in reality. People don't know. And
wait a minute. I had no idea so again, we have people listening from all over the world. You are shocking people now. I'm glad.
It is shocking. It's shocking. And that's what motivated me and Michael to ruffle feathers. And Michael's been a feather ruffler, and so have I, because you have to take a stand for what's right. And if you can't go this way, you go the other way, and you find a vehicle, because you have to live with yourself at the end of the day. And if I were Michael and I had spent, umpteen years training, sacrificing normal life's happiness as everybody else, has children, gets married, go on. And these people study and they work incredible hours, and it's because they want to. And then they go somewhere into an institution and somebody tells them what they have to do. And, traditionally, and no offense, Michael, doctors are not the best businessmen in the world. Other people are doing the business end of it. And so what happens is that all gets caught up inside of the care delivery. And it's frustrating for somebody like Michael, that, but he is telling him, no, hospital bought that one. And who knows, there the multi-levels of decision making that happen. And it's unbelievable how the patient as an individual really kind of got lost in the shuffle.
So let's go back and unpack a couple of things here. We have the best and the brightest in the body called Michael Richman in terms of skill level. But there aren't many Michael Richmans in the world. Not every doctor has the same training as he does or she does. In other words, if there's a female equivalent, you're talking top of the top. So what do we do with the regular doctors and surgeons who are skilled, maybe not as highly skilled as Michael? How do they use the Paladin system to deliver the best care for the people that want it or need it?
Well, that's an interesting question. And
that's why I make the big bucks.
Yeah, no, the thing is, and we've discussed this quite a bit, if ruffling feathers was easy, everybody would do it and be
right.
brave and go out there and go undaunted, right?
Okay, Jennifer. Michael, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Until Jennifer comes back, why don't you tell us what's going on?
I don't know what happened.
Oh, here she is.
Oh, there you are. Continue.
Here she is again. Okay.
Because we discussed this whole concept, and Michael's like, doctors are not going to like me, but they've never liked me because but I think it's sort of a double-edged sword. Don't you agree, Michael? Like the doctors that want to help people, that whether they're highly trained like Michael or they're new doctors that are starting their experience, they get frustrated in the system. They wanted to become doctors. Just let's start with that. That's really a hard thing to do. And so then they become victims of a system, and they get a little jaded. So sometimes when Michael will speak to, a client that we get, he'll tell them that he'll speak to their physician because they may have gotten a blood result that their physician said was fine, but Michael will go to the next level, as you know, and say, guess what? And he'll explain this as today. It's not all right. You have to go to the next level. And some doctors get irritated or pissed off because they're like, everybody thinks doctors have a God complex and they're arrogant, and some of them are. And no, they're not all like Michael, who are, geniuses but are humble and who can want to listen and learn even still today. But so when you ask how can doctors help, go back to caring. Go back to what you went to medical school for in the first place, what you sacrificed when everybody else was going out. Remember that, listen to other people. You don't know everything. Nobody does, and if you be open to listening to somebody who cares about your patient. It's not a threat. It's it's like listening to.
So let me interrupt just for a moment and just to understand, is Paladin then an adjunct and an advocate for the patient working with physician? In other words, so the physician doesn't feel threatened that you are contradicting me. In other words, now you have the physician can feel with Paladin, wow, I have somebody else that I can work with and maybe even get more information.
That would be good. Yeah, I mean, it's what we call a B2C, you know, in the business world. It's Paladin to the patient, the client, and what we hope is that the physicians that Michael interacts with, we will talk to your physician. We say our tagline is, we're not your doctor. We're not your doctor. You have a doctor. We're going to make sure that everything that's being done for you is being done correctly and in the most in-depth way possible, and with the most care and concern and the largest magnifying glass that you can look at something, which a lot of doctors find to be a threat, especially when they're sloppy and they don't, give the right answers on tests.
Doctors make mistakes?
Not this one, but
right. Okay, wait a minute. On that note, everybody, we have sponsors that love us and that love you and they have great products. We're going to go to a short break, come right back, and we're going to talk about the fact that doctors do not make mistakes. But if they did, Paladin is here for the rescue. We'll be right back after this brief message. Don't go away. Woo-wee. Good day, everyone. Barry Shore here. So happy to be discussing with you today a plant-based, high-quality, protein, organic superfood called Organifi, Organifi. Organifi, I use it. I ordered it. I sought them out. I'm so glad to be urging everybody to try and use this remarkable high-quality food product. The story is two wonderful people, Drew and Jamal, who in 2014 joined forces together to find the best possible high-quality superfood blends. Took them 52 different tries before they got it right. And I'm telling you, they hit on something that is revolutionizing the world. Your world, your health. This is the best, the most powerful, positive, purposeful, pleasant, high-quality superfood you could ever have. That's as simple as it. I swim 2 miles a day, every single 6 days a week. I use this to restore and regenerate my being, and I feel better for it. You can't go wrong. You must find your way to the website and use this product. I want you to go to Organifi, Organifi.com, Organifi.com. And when you go there, you're going to put in the code LIVING, capital LIVING, living, and you're going to get 20% off your first order. This is stuff that you're going to want to have for you, your family. You're going to tell your friends, everybody, this is health. This is good health. This is great health. Organifi.com. Please go there. You'll thank me for it. You'll be jumping up and down and telling the world. Go to Organifi.com, put in the code LIVING, capital L, capital I, VING, and get 20% off. And I look forward to getting many, many comments and emails from you saying, thank you, Barry Shore. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good in abundance. I told you it's good squared today. We have Jennifer Martucci. We have Dr. Michael Richman, and we're talking about knights in shining armor, all oriented for one thing, your good health. It's called Paladin MDs. These two remarkable people built this new system that is geared for one thing, your health, your care, your comfort, working in with your physician or physicians to make sure that you get the best care possible. Because it's certainly interesting. I think you mentioned to me, Michael and Jennifer, that CV, as you call it, cardiovascular situations, still the number one killer for men and women in the United States of America. And that may be true even throughout the world. And the ability to detect it early, I'm presuming, is the ability to save one's life. So if that's true, let's use that as a jumping off point. And I also want to make sure we have time to talk about what's happening in our world today with training physicians of the next two generations, because I have the feeling that we're not doing the best by our physicians and therefore by the population. But let's talk about what you advanced lipo treatment, protein testing, and CV, and what's happening in that particular world. Who's going first? Maybe you, Dr. Richman. Okay.
Sounds good. You don't even know why you came to me in the first place, Barry.
That's right. Hello, he saved my life.
So, just in a nutshell, cardiovascular disease is the number one killer of men and women in the United States. And if you total up the next 7 causes, it doesn't come close to the number one killer. And if you really think about it, you drive by a cemetery, and this should strike everybody, every 3.5 tombstones is a cardiovascular death. Okay, so what is it that we're doing? Why are we not making a dent in it? Well, it's because we're not identifying people properly. And then once we do identify them properly, if we do at all, we're not treating them properly. And we know that the risk factors for cardiovascular disease are age. We all got that. We're getting older. High cholesterol, smoking, type 2 diabetes, and hypertension. Those are the 5 major risk factors. But what's the one thing to me that's the most important that I didn't say? Genetics. Okay, your genetics. So on paper, you could be the lowest risk person in the world, but if you said to me that everybody on your father's side had a heart attack or died in their 50s, I don't care, you're high risk. Okay, so risk factor scoring is woefully inadequate. That's number one. Number two, obviously, the most modifiable risk factor is treating high cholesterol. And we have known that we've been doing it wrong since the 1960s. But yet, still, since it's been done wrong since the 1960s, everybody still fights over it. And it's been misinterpreted. What should we be doing? And it's become a turf war. When I first saw you, there were actually one guideline. In the guidelines, we're actually heading in the right direction. And now it's basically like Russia breaking away all the breakaway republics. The Endocrine Society has their guidelines. The Europeans have their guidelines. Canadians, the American College of Cardiology, and they're all different. And what they all don't do is they don't test properly. So when we do regular cholesterol testing, we miss 50 to 60% of the population. It tells them that they're normal, but they're not normal. Okay. And the first paper actually written about this was in 1961, female doctor from Yale. So I still have a copy of it, and it was titled Triglycerides, Lipoprotein Testing, and Coronary Artery Disease. And then in 1967, Dr. Friedrichsen, who made the cholesterol classification we still use today, wrote in the New England Journal of Medicine that atherosclerosis, or in other words, plaque formation in arteries, is a disease of these CARs, I call them, lipoprotein particles. It's not a disease of cholesterol. Okay, so in 1967, we knew this, and we're able to measure them. And still today, most doctors measure the wrong thing, have no clue. I have doctors who are cardiologists who are my patients. So, the lipid testing is what I'm known for, and we've migrated that into Paladin MDs because that is still like my baby. That still matters more to me because there's no question that it saves lives. If you can do a simple blood test and identify every single person and miss nobody, at least I provided you with the information. Okay, if you don't want to be treated, now that's on you. And I understand that, and I would never force that. But isn't identification, if you don't identify something, how can you treat it? And, that's the problem, is getting back to medicine as a whole, is doctors don't want to be told that there's an alternative way, that they're wrong, that they need to reconsider, that something is. And this isn't fringe medicine. This isn't like giving hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin for COVID. I mean, this is FDA approved, been around forever, the 1960s.
That sounds like ivermectin. I'm sorry.
Right, exactly. So it's basically, what we do is an MRI of the blood and measure the vehicles that drive the cholesterol into the wall of the artery. And it's as simple as that, okay? And insurance pays for it, Medicare pays for it.
Michael, let me just ask, I just want to add to what you're saying. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but all the patients that have done this lipid testing, they all say the same thing. Every one of them says, why didn't my doctor tell me about this? Every one of them. And I was shocked. Yeah, I mean, nobody knew about this. And it seems so obvious when Michael explains it. And that actually keeps Michael up at night. Like, this is the concern that he has. And so if he's able to go out and reach people and at least teach them, like he's saying, that this is, you get how many people leave their blood test, Michael, and they're like, oh, my numbers were great, I'm fine. And then within the next week or so, they have a heart attack and they're like, what the hell happened? And it's this very simple profile to do, and nobody even mentions it.
So let's unpack this for a while, because this is.
I can vary if you want me to. So here's the issue, is that and this applies to so many things in medicine. We know this is the standard of care. The American College of Cardiology and American Diabetic Association says this is the standard of care for anybody who's high risk. Okay, so high risk, you have diabetes, you've already had a heart attack or stroke. Okay, but I just said risk factor scoring doesn't take into account the thing that's most important to me, your genetics. So it leaves out that whole population. So it is the standard of care, and that's the consensus paper. The problem is they start arguing about, is it necessary in a low risk population? So I come back.
And by the way, the low risk population is far more people.
Correct.
No.
Okay. So here's what I say: if risk factor scoring is inaccurate, again, who's really low risk, and you would rather radiate somebody, give them radiation, do some ridiculous test that doesn't provide information. But this is a simple blood test. It's the same analogy of getting a PSA in men. Okay, the government essentially, the task force who makes the rules of Medicare fund, said that PSA testing is not necessary in men over 70. Okay, because you're going to have so many false positives. And I sit there and I say to myself, for a test that's 5 cents, it's not like 10 people die of prostate cancer. Right. Thousands of men die of prostate cancer. What the hell do you care? Well, this is the same thing. So rather than saying with lipoprotein testing in low risk patients, it's not necessary, they don't understand. It's never been tested, and it won't be tested, because who's going to stay in a study for 10 or 15 years and do regular testing in a group of people, do advanced testing in another group of people, then based on those tests, treat them and generate enough heart attacks or strokes over 15, 20 years? Unless somebody pays you, nobody's staying in a study.
Like I said,
so this goes back to Jennifer's point about unless somebody pays you. It is follow the money. It's what you're saying.
Right.
I like that you used a couple of interesting points here. First of all, we're talking about over 50 years, according to what you just said. We've been doing it wrong for over 50 years. from 1961, 1967, even though some people know, they're the arcane little people that know, once in a while they pop up, Michael Richman over here and this person over here, and this, but otherwise the establishment of the medical association, even in the higher ranks of very accomplished physicians and surgeons and such, still doing the wrong measurements. And as you said, we're talking basically about an MRI of blood, which is not a big test because it will give you much more information. So the interesting thing is, how do you, with your megaphone, get to the top of a mountain and ruffle enough feathers? Why are you not on The View or one of these other things, Morning Friends or Morning Enemies or Late Night this and Late Night Television, and telling people, hello, hello, hello? Is it because nobody will really listen? And then people care about their health. Why is it that, other than you and Jennifer and these great lone wolves who really care, why is there not a big deal being made about this? Because as you said, every time you drive past the cemetery, every 3.5 grave sites are this stuff.
We're
I mean, there is, Barry, but most lipid centers have failed because it's not a moneymaker. Okay.
Well, there you go again. It's the money.
And no, it's true. So the doctors who I have as my patients, first of all, the ones who do know, when I had the Center for Cholesterol Management, didn't want to refer me patients because, and they admitted it. They said the patient will want to come to you because you manage their diabetes, their hypertension.
Gee, isn't that amazing?
Right. But second of all, so why is it? Number one, you don't learn this in medical school. Okay. You don't learn this.
I want us to say it again. I want everybody to hear this. You don't learn this in medical school.
You don't learn it. You don't learn it in heart surgery training. You don't learn it in cardiology. It wasn't until I one day just developed this curiosity, and this is while I was doing heart surgery. Why the heck does atherosclerosis occur in the first place? Like, how does plaque? And I mean, I'm doing the surgery. I'm doing bypasses. Okay, so you don't learn it. Number two, everybody thinks it's expensive. Number three, payments from insurance and Medicare are negligible. You know how much time I used to spend with people.
Right.
Okay, 45 minutes, 50 minutes.
Well, that's because I'm a nice guy, but yes.
Right. But you can't make a living doing that. Okay.
Right.
Unless you do procedures. You can't. And so that's why medicine now has gone to this population health. Let's just deal with population, screw the individual. So what I've basically decided, after fighting for so long, I can't change the world, even though I'd like to, but I can help an individual and help somebody who cares and who wants to.
And Jennifer, this is what you have built, you and Michael. Is this what Paladin is really about?
Right. I mean, and I think that what we said in the beginning about having the ability to be an advocate for a patient with no agenda, meaning we're not, the time that's spent with the person is, you're buying time, you're buying, a membership, or you're buying a consultation, but there's no clock watchers. It's as long as it takes to explain to you until you understand. It's not like, blah, 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 blah. Okay, out the door, next patient, and you're left going, and you might think it's a stupid question and you feel silly. And most people, not only do they feel silly, but they feel bad that they're bothering the doctor, and they don't, and then whatever you say, doctor, and yes, everything, because people don't know, and they just blindly listen to everything. Yeah, your cholesterol results were fine. Okay, have a good day. You'll be fine. And there's a couple of very specific case studies where you've got professional athletes, physicians, people that you would look at them, and most doctors look at them and go, oh, that person will never have you don't look like a heart attack candidate. You're not. And sure enough, they are. And they did. And they almost died. And it's because nobody, whether they didn't have the time because of the insurance money, or nobody gave a crap, or they just were, whatever the reason is, they don't know, they weren't told. And so and that's just one aspect of the oversight that a Paladin MD, provides. So offering
Jennifer can give you an example, Barry, if you want, of her best friend or college roommate's husband who had pancreatic cancer. And
oh my God.
what went on with his journey and how we got involved, and it's.
And with the top cancer, you think, you and I were like, citizens, let's say.
We went to Sloan Kettering.
Yes, they went to Sloan Kettering. My best friend said, "Oh, I'm in New York. Why? Oh, my husband got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and young, great, amazing guy. And they're doing this, they're doing that, and I don't know."
But you missed the key point, Barry. So he's from Atlanta, and he had kidney cancer, and the kidney and the pancreas are this far from each other.
Well,
and on 3 consecutive CT scans, they missed the pancreatic cancer at the same time as the kidney cancer.
So I said to my friend, I said, "Do me a favor, send me all of his paperwork, send me all of his test results. I want to send them to Michael. I just want him to take a look." And what Michael just said, he looked at, and he does this professionally also and legally, but just, as a good soul and a brilliant doctor, he looked at this and evaluated everything, and he saw just what he said, that Sloan Kettering, like Mecca for cancer, screwed up really badly. Now, Michael, through his network of, professionals and colleagues and specialists, we got the guy to one of the top, I'm going to pronounce it wrong. Say it, Michael. Biliary?
Hepatobiliary?
Yeah, that. Surgeons, that his colleague of Michael's, you would never have found him otherwise. Not only did he get him to go to him, he got him an appointment immediately. Mike, there's an urgency when we're there because it's for you. He takes it personally, and he'll make the call. He'll get you into the ER, so you're not sitting there for 3 hours. He'll get you to that specialist that you can't get an appointment with for 6 months because they're so popular. When he calls, they pick up the phone, and you get in right away. And my friend's husband is alive today because of Michael, because they operated on him, and there's no more cancer. There's no more cancer.
He had unresectable pancreatic.
Sloan Kettering would not do it. They wouldn't do it. They sent him home to die.
So he was going to die.
Yep, they sent him home to die. And not only that, Michael, like looking at the medical records, and I'm sure I'm going to say something wrong, but they had treated him with what did they give him? They gave him radiation and chemo. And he could tell by just how they treated him that Michael knew that they kind of gave up on him, and they were just sending him home to die. Like, press B7 treatment for this and see you later. But Michael was like, no, that's not, this is, I think we can resect this. And he looked at it, and then he sent it to his friend and colleague, and he agreed, and we went, and it moved like this. And he's like, time is of the essence, because he was radiated, and inside is going to get mushy if we don't do this soon, because it does that to the organs. I mean, I can't tell you how many people he has intervened and saved their lives. And it's because, and those poor people are sitting, they think that they're at the best hospital in the world for cancer.
Okay. I'm sorry to tell you that our hour has gone by. We have so much more to talk about and share with people. I want to talk about what's happening in training doctors and for the future, and what's going on with more cancer stuff and things like that. So I'm going to ask you 3 quick questions, kids. You ready?
Yes.
You can both answer. Number 1 question: will you come back again?
Yes.
Okay, got a yes from both of them. Number 2, this is going to be a little more difficult. I usually do have 1 guest, and you have 80 seconds. So we have 2 of you. You're each going to get 45 seconds only. You only get 45 seconds to answer this question. Jennifer, we'll start with you.
Right.
And the question is, what is your most fervent desire? In 45 seconds.
to live life with no regrets and to leave a mark while I was here.
Michael Richman, Dr. Michael Richman, you have 56 seconds because you got granted some extra from Jennifer.
So from a personal standpoint, have peace and happiness, for the remainder of my life. But from a professional standpoint, I feel that I still have a lot to do. And I know, and I don't mean this from a narcissistic standpoint, I still can change the world. There's a lot of people that I can still actually save their lives, literally. And my life won't be complete until I achieve, that goal, whatever it is, whenever it comes. But, being a heart surgeon and doing heart transplants, touching the heart, literally and figuratively.
Well, I think you've done that today, both of you. You've touched our hearts, touched mine. And number 3, can I give you a hug in front of 364,820 people around the world?
Yes.
Okay, let me tell you what HUG stands for. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. Ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. You remember, everybody, you tuned in to The Joy of Living with the humble host, Barry Shore, and our amazing guest, wonderful Jennifer Martucci and Dr. Michael Richman. And we've been talking about your health. And that's the most important thing in the world, because when you're the best you make the world a better place. As Michael said, you can build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world when you live with the 3 fundamentals of life. Number 1, life has purpose. 2, purposeful, driven people. Number 2, go mad. That's what happens. You live a life of purpose. You go mad, you make a difference in the world. Number 3, to unlock the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms like WWW, what a wonderful world. Smile, seeing miracles in life every day. As my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Create the kind of world you want to live in, causing rethinking, like Jennifer and Michael, enabling all to excel. Remember, choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Use 4-letter words like live, life, hope, grow, free, give, swim, pray, play. Tell the world to F you, capital N, capital N. Remember, put a big smile on your face. You do that. And practice gratitude by saying the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day, every single day for the rest of your life. And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. And we thank you, wonderful, fabulous Jennifer, delightful, amazing Michael. And our blessing for the 3 of us is go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.